The Galactic Council's meeting chamber, a vast dome of shimmering light and crystalline pillars, buzzed with tension. Holographic images of afflicted aliens hovered above the table, dozens of species, their vibrant colors dulled by disease. A once thriving trade hub on Zoltris 4 was now a quarantine zone, its economy grinding to a halt as the mysterious pathogen spread unchecked. Councillor Trinax, a gelatinous being whose translucent form pulsed with agitation, addressed the assembly. "We've exhausted every known treatment. Even the Elthari, with their advanced regenerative medicine, have failed. If this continues, Zoltris 4 will collapse." "Perhaps isolation is the answer," muttered Councillor Griffin, his reptilian scales shimmering with unease. "Contain the outbreak before it spreads further." "That's a death sentence," Trinax retorted, their form rippling. "We need solutions, not defeatism." A pause fell over the room as Councillor Ivala, a crystalline figure whose voice resonated like chimes, spoke cautiously. "There is one species we haven't consulted." The room erupted into murmurs. "You mean the humans?" Griffin hissed, his tail lashing. "Those chaotic deathworlders. Their biology is a collection of accidents. They can't even control their own planet, let alone help us." "They have offered," Ivala said, "and they've claimed success against similar outbreaks." "They always claim success," Griffin scoffed. Trinax's form stilled. "We have no other choice." The humans arrived with little fanfare, stepping off their transport ship, wearing practical uniforms and carrying bulky cases marked with the Earth insignia. Leading the team was Dr. Griffin Shaw, a tall, broad-shouldered man with sharp blue eyes and a confident stride. Beside him, Dr. Eleanor Carter, a microbiologist, carried a cooler labeled Caution, Live Cultures. The Council's medical advisors greeted them with barely concealed skepticism. "You're late," said Dr. Veclor, a towering insectoid with iridescent wings. "We've already lost another 7 Zoltrisians this morning." "Then let's get to work," Griffin said, unfazed by the chilly reception. As the humans unpacked their equipment, centrifuges, gene sequencers, and cases of vials, Veclor's compound eyes fixated on the cooler. "What's in there?" "Microbes," Elena replied cheerfully. "Engineered to adapt to alien physiology." "Engineered?" Veclor recoiled. "You tamper with microbes?" Griffin smirked. "We don't just tamper. We optimize in the quarantine zone." Griffin and his team began their analysis. Alien medics watched with a mix of horror and fascination as the humans worked, swabbing patients, running rapid tests, and discussing potential solutions with unnerving casualness. "These pathogens mutate fast," Elena noted, peering into a microscope. "But they're slow compared to Earth viruses." "That's good news for us," Griffin replied. "Let's deploy the first wave of treatment. Start with the Zoltrisian baseline." Veclor observed as Elena loaded a syringe with a cloudy liquid. "What is that?" "A microbial cocktail," Elena said, smiling. "It'll target the pathogen, boost the immune response, and neutralize secondary infections." Veclor looked appalled. "And you just inject it? Without weeks of testing?" "Testing?" Griffin chuckled. "We field test as we go. Earth biology doesn't wait, so neither do we." The alien medics braced for disaster as Elena administered the treatment to the first patient, a frail Zoltrisian whose vibrant skin had dulled to a sickly gray. Minutes passed. Then the patient stirred, their colors brightening as their breathing steadied. "It's working," Elena said, checking the monitors. "Pathogen levels are dropping." Word of the human's success spread quickly, but not everyone was convinced. In the council chamber, Griffin snarled. "So, they've cured a few patients. At what cost? Do we truly understand what these microbes are doing?" Trinax, who had been monitoring the situation, countered. "The alternative is death, Councillor. The humans' methods may be unconventional, but they are effective." Griffin narrowed his eyes. "What if these microbes cause long-term damage? Or worse, spread uncontrolled?" "I can assure you," Griffin interrupted as he entered the chamber, "our microbes are designed to self-regulate. They're not pathogens, they're problem solvers. Griffin sneered. You play God with biology. Griffin shrugged. And you're welcome. The success of the human treatments continued. Griffin's team tailored microbial solutions for other species, customizing their cocktails to fit alien biologies. The results were staggering. Patients who had been on the brink of death recovered within hours. In one dramatic case, a massive Drexian soldier with 3 hearts and redundant organs had been pronounced untreatable. Griffin's team deployed a specialized viral vector that not only cured the infection, but improved the soldier's cardiovascular efficiency. Alien medics were stunned. You've enhanced him, Veclor stammered. Side effect, Elena said with a grin. But hey, he'll be the healthiest Drexian on the planet. The Zoltrizian quarantine zone had transformed. Where once the alien medics had worked in sterile, silent despair, the atmosphere was now buzzing with hope, and no small amount of horror. Human methods were working, but their casual approach to biology left the alien medical teams deeply unsettled. This is insanity, Veclor muttered, his wings quivering as he watched Dr. Elena Carter administer yet another microbial cocktail. They treat pathogens like allies. Elena, overhearing, smirked as she handed a datapad to her assistant. You're not wrong. Sometimes the best way to fight a problem is with another problem. That's not medicine, Veclor hissed. That's chaos. Chaos works, Griffin Shaw interjected, walking past with a vial of glowing liquid. You've seen the results. Veclor reluctantly admitted the truth. Dozens of patients had recovered within hours of treatment, with nearly all showing no signs of relapse. The humans' methods, though unconventional, were undeniably effective. As Griffin and Elena worked, alien medics began asking questions that quickly spiraled into shocked disbelief. Your immune systems are constantly under attack, an Elthari healer asked, her shimmering form vibrating with unease. Pretty much, Elena replied. Earth is a death world. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, you name it, we've fought it. That's why our immune systems are so good. You mean chaotic, Veclor corrected. Your bodies are a war zone. Adapt or die, Griffin said with a shrug. It's worked so far. When the conversation turned to the human microbiome, the aliens were left reeling. You coexist with trillions of microbes? Veclor asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. Of course, Elena said. They're part of us. Gut health is critical. Without our microbes, we'd be dead in days. The alien medics exchanged horrified glances. To them, the idea of symbiosis with microorganisms was unthinkable. Yet, the humans spoke of it as casually as one might discuss the weather. The real test came when the pathogen mutated, becoming more virulent and resistant to standard treatments. Alien medics panicked, but Griffin's team remained calm. We've seen this before, Elena said, scanning the new pathogen under a microscope. It's like flu season back home. Flu season? Veclor asked, his wings buzzing nervously. Yeah, Griffin said, preparing a new batch of microbial cocktails. Earth viruses mutate constantly. We just keep up. Within hours, the humans had developed a new countermeasure. Griffin delivered the first dose himself, injecting it into a critically ill Drexian. The patient's condition stabilized almost immediately. How did you adapt so quickly? Trinax asked, their gelatinous form rippling with astonishment. Griffin grinned. This is just Tuesday for us. Despite the humans' success, skepticism lingered among the Galactic Council. Councillor Grevin, ever the cynic, called for an emergency session. These humans are dangerous, Grevin declared. Their methods may cure diseases, but they meddle with biology in ways that could have catastrophic consequences. They've saved lives, Trinax countered. Do you propose we reject their assistance and let our people die? Grevin's tail lashed. What if their microbes mutate? What if their cures create new problems? Humans thrive in chaos, but the rest of us cannot afford it. The debate raged until Griffin himself was summoned to address the council. Standing in the center of the grand chamber, he faced the skeptical stares of alien leaders. You fear us because we're different, Griffin began. I get it. Humanity's biology is chaotic, but it's also adaptable. We've survived plagues, wars, and extinction events because we learned to work with chaos, not against it. And what happens if your chaos spreads? Griffin demanded. Griffin smirked. It already has. But instead of fighting it, maybe you should learn from it. Back in the quarantine zone, the humans' treatments continued to prove effective. Alien medics began shadowing Griffin and Elena, reluctantly adopting their methods. Patients of every species recovered, and the outbreak slowed to a halt. In one corner of the ward, a young Zaltrizian patient who had been near death just days before was now sitting up, chatting with their family. Their bright, shimmering skin was more vibrant than ever. "You didn't just cure them," Veclor said, watching the scene. "You improved them." Griffin nodded. "Earth biology doesn't just fix problems, it optimizes." Veclor's wings quivered. "That's what terrifies me." The Zaltrizian quarantine zone was no longer a place of despair, but of recovery and cautious optimism. Alien medics, once skeptical of human methods, now relied on Griffin Shaw's team to train them in deploying the microbial treatments. As the outbreak subsided, word of humanity's biological ingenuity spread across the galaxy. Alien delegates arrived at the quarantine zone to observe Earth's unorthodox methods firsthand. "This isn't medicine," one crystalline observer muttered, their refractive edges glowing faintly. "It's biological engineering." "That's the point," Elena Carter said, overhearing the comment. "Earth's biology taught us that survival isn't just about defense, it's about adaptation." As more alien species witnessed humanity's approach, their fascination turned to unease. The galaxy learned about Earth's evolutionary history, particularly humanity's survival in a world of constant microbial warfare. "You've willingly experimented with your own DNA?" an Elthari healer asked, her iridescent wings trembling. "Not willingly at first," Griffin replied. "But once we figured out how to edit genes, we started fixing things nature didn't." The alien delegates listened in stunned silence as Griffin described humanity's use of CRISPR, gene therapy, and bioengineering to combat genetic disorders, enhance immunity, and even improve physical resilience. "And your immune systems?" a reptilian delegate asked cautiously. "You train them?" "Pretty much," Elena said. "Exposure builds strength. We let our immune systems fight pathogens so they get better at it." The alien medics exchanged horrified glances. The idea of deliberately exposing oneself to pathogens was unthinkable in their cultures, yet humans described it with a casual, almost flippant tone. As the humans continued to share their techniques, one particular development captured the galaxy's attention: a genetically engineered microbe capable of tailoring its function to the physiology of its host. Griffin demonstrated its efficacy on a Drexian patient suffering from a chronic respiratory ailment. "This little guy," Griffin said, holding up a vial of glowing liquid, "is programmed to adapt to the patient's system. It won't just cure the infection, it'll stay in the body and prevent future ones." The treatment worked flawlessly, leaving the patient not only healthy, but showing enhanced lung capacity and endurance. "You've created symbiotic life forms?" an alien scientist asked, their voice trembling. "Of course," Elena replied. "Symbiosis is the backbone of Earth's ecosystems." The alien delegates were both impressed and terrified. Humanity's willingness to create and deploy new life forms was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Back at the Galactic Council, the debate over humanity's methods intensified. Councillor Trinax defended the humans' contributions, citing the lives they had saved. Councillor Griffin, however, remained unconvinced. "Do you not see the danger?" Griffin snarled. "These humans treat biology as a toy. What happens when their creations go wrong?" "They haven't gone wrong yet," Trinax argued, "and without them, the Zaltrizian trade hub would be a graveyard." Griffin narrowed his eyes. "Their methods may be effective, but they're reckless. They see chaos as a tool. That makes them unpredictable and dangerous." The galactic delegates' unease deepened as they learned more about humanity's resilience. When a new pathogen emerged on a neighboring planet, humans were the first to respond, deploying genetically engineered treatments within days. Your adaptability is astounding, said an Elthari healer as she watched Griffin administer a viral vector cure to an infected alien. You turn biological chaos into strength. Adaptation is survival, Griffin said simply. Earth taught us that. The healer's shimmering form flickered. And what happens when your strength surpasses ours? Griffin paused, then smiled faintly. That depends on whether you work with us or against us. With the immediate crisis resolved, the Galactic Council faced a difficult decision. Humanity's methods had proven effective, but their implications were unsettling. Should the galaxy embrace Earth's approach to medicine or reject it as too risky? After hours of debate, the Council reached a resolution. Humanity would be recognized as a leading authority in galactic medicine, but their practices would be carefully monitored. As the announcement was made, Griffin couldn't help but smirk. Monitored, huh? I guess that's fair. Alien medics began integrating Earth-inspired techniques into their practices, though cautiously. Symbiotic microbes, viral vector therapies, and adaptive treatments became tools in the galaxy's medical arsenal. Humanity, once dismissed as primitive deathworlders, was now seen as pioneers of biological innovation. But the unease remained. As alien leaders watched humans thrive in chaos, they couldn't shake the feeling that Earth's biology was both a gift and a warning. The Galactic Council's formal recognition of humanity's contributions marked a turning point in interstellar relations. From deathworlders to innovators, humans had redefined their role in the galaxy. Alien species began adopting Earth's unorthodox methods, cautiously integrating microbial therapies, gene editing techniques, and adaptive biology into their medical systems. At a ceremony on Zoltris IV, now fully recovered and bustling with activity, Councillor Trinax addressed a crowd of diplomats, medics, and survivors. Holograms of Earth's microbial breakthroughs hovered in the air as Trinax's voice resonated through the hall. Today, we honor humanity's ingenuity, Trinax said. Their methods may be unconventional, but their results speak for themselves. Let this partnership be a testament to what we can achieve when we embrace diversity, in biology and beyond. Dr. Griffin Shaw stood near the back of the hall, arms crossed, watching as the aliens celebrated the outcome. Beside him, Dr. Elena Carter leaned against a railing, holding a cup of Zoltrizian tea. Well, we've gone from chaotic deathworlders to galactic heroes, Elena said with a grin. Not bad for a species with primitive biology. Griffin chuckled. Give it time. They'll start calling us reckless again the moment we suggest our next idea. As if on cue, an Elthari healer approached, her wings shimmering. Dr. Shaw, Dr. Carter, your innovations have inspired many of us, but some remain uneasy about your methods. Let me guess, Griffin said, his tone dry. Councillor Grevin? The healer hesitated before nodding. He believes your willingness to modify biology could lead to unintended consequences. Griffin's expression softened. He's not wrong to be cautious. Biology is unpredictable. But that's why we're good at this. We've lived with unpredictability for millennia. Despite the growing admiration for humanity, debates continued across the galaxy. On one hand, Earth's methods had saved countless lives. On the other, their readiness to experiment with life itself raised ethical questions. At a council meeting, Councillor Grevin voiced his concerns. These humans treat biology as a tool to be bent to their will. What happens when their creations go beyond their control? Councillor Trinax countered, and yet, without their methods, Zoltris IV would have perished. Their chaos is not a flaw, it is their strength. The Council reached a compromise. Humanity's contributions would be embraced, but their practices would be carefully regulated. Alien medical institutions began forming partnerships with Earth, sharing knowledge while establishing boundaries. To commemorate the end of the pandemic and the newfound collaboration between species, the Galactic Council organized a celebration on Zoltris IV. The event featured cultural exchanges, including a demonstration of Earth's medical technologies. Griffin and Elena led a presentation on adaptive biology, showcasing Earth's ability to turn challenges into solutions. Their explanations of symbiotic microbes, viral vectors, and genetic therapies left the audience both awed and unsettled. "You've built a system that thrives on chaos," an alien delegate remarked. "It is beautiful and terrifying." "That's Earth for you," Elena said with a wink. "Beautiful chaos." As the celebration continued, alien doctors began to reflect on their own practices. Many realized that their rigid, highly controlled approaches had made them vulnerable to unforeseen challenges. Humanity's adaptability offered a new way forward, not by replacing existing methods, but by complementing them. Alien worlds began piloting human-inspired projects. On one aquatic planet, symbiotic microbes helped repair coral reefs devastated by pollution. On another, genetic therapies cured diseases that had plagued their species for generations. Humanity's influence spread across the stars, reshaping galactic medicine. Back on Earth, Griffin and Elena returned to their lab, where a new batch of microbial treatments awaited testing. As they worked, a holographic message from the Galactic Council appeared, thanking them for their contributions and outlining new collaborative projects. "Well," Elena said, closing the message, "looks like we've got a galaxy to teach." Griffin smirked, "And a lot of cautious aliens to convince." "Think they'll ever stop calling us reckless?" Elena asked. "Not a chance," Griffin replied, "but they'll call us something else too, essential." As Earth's chaotic biology continued to spread hope and innovation, the galaxy learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, survival isn't about perfection. It's about adaptability, resilience, and finding beauty in the chaos.